Ask Reddit. Let's read time. What's the pettiest reason you won't date someone over? Let's jump in. Choto Beam says, this girl was beautiful, intelligent, driven. We got along well. She was perfect, except that she would snap her fingers whenever someone would say something she liked. Every conversation, peppered with snaps. She'd do it instead of applauding at concerts, too. Eventually, I realized that this couldn't be my life. Peppered with snaps. I love it. Oh, okay. Oh, Cotton Shope says, "Co, she texted like this." Yeah. Oh. Someone else says, surely this is just so much more effort. Yeah, it is. It really is. And trying to translate it is just as much effort. Oh, I got a text. Two stories here. One friend, she would talk to me on AOL Instant Messenger, and instead of saying the word or typing the word anyone, she would type the letter N, the letter E, the number 1. One is what I thought it was, and it was like about a year until I realized it was NE1, anyone. So, okay, well, okay, that's your thing. And then there was this one guy I liked. Oh, so I put up with a lot of crap, and he would text a wall of text all the time, like, oh, I should totally just, uncover those old texts and emails, because picture a paragraph that's like 4 to 6 sentences. Now just make that only 1 sentence, and there's no commas or anything. That's how he would speak. And I put up with it for too long. Fuck it. The overuse of the word amazing. Someone else says, or epic. Someone else says, or awesome. Most overused word in America. Yeah. Could be worse. I don't know. But I mean, it's petty reasons, so whatever. Chromatech says, I know this one always comes up, but I won't date a smoker no matter how much they keep their smoking away from me. Even if they only ever smoke outside, never in the car, never in the house, it still seems to seep into their clothing, and the smell just makes me sick. I agree with this completely. And that wall of text guy was a smoker, so whenever I hung out with him, I would get massive headaches and migraines from the smoke. I eventually got used to it enough, but it was still barfy. And then when I would come home, I'd have to throw my clothes into the washer because that smell was just hideous and gross. Someone says, as a smoker, you're right. I don't smoke in the car, but it stinks of smoke. Yeah, barf. Doing Dunknuts says, Dunknuts? Fucking shit. These fucking names. I'm gonna not read the names anymore, thank you, bye. Chewing with mouth open. Instant closed case. That I also agree. That's pretty nasty. I really hate lip smacky noises when people are eating and shit. So, like, I need the TV on so I don't hear those fucking noises. So I agree. Someone else says, there was one girl who was just incredible. Witty, smart, beautiful, and we had so much in common. But she had this habit where she would state a fact or correct someone, where she would slowly close her eyes and say, well, actually... Oh, I know that. I think it was the slow closing of the eyes that annoyed me more. I can tune someone out just fine. Hokidoki. Yeah, I knew somebody like that. Where, correcting grammar and whatnot was more important than what the person was, like, compassionately saying to them and whatnot, where it's like, what do you gotta prove, bitch? Someone says, around the office, Oscar is known as, well, actually, because he always inserts himself into conversations. He really does fit the stereotype of the smug, gay Mexican. Alright. Yeah, I know a few, well, actually, people. They're usually girls. That's just the fact. And it's just one of those things where, I would get paid to draw things for people, graphic stuff, and I'd give them the picture, and I'd be like, just give me the okay so I can, finish it. And they always go, oh my god, it's perfect! And then they send another message within like an hour, and it's always, well, actually, and then they list like all the shit wrong with it that they don't suddenly like. Or they're like, oh, thank you, but my friend says, and it's like, oh, Jesus. You're an adult, come on, stop using the, my friend, and, oh, doctor, there's something wrong. My friend, who's not me, like, just, it's gross. Someone else says, I wouldn't date a guy who wasn't ticklish. Okay, well that's a fetish I don't feel like getting into. I mean, it's not a bad fetish, but I just don't care right now. Someone else says, long natural nails on girls. It's so disgusting. I'm honestly not a nail guy, period, but I can tolerate fake nails that are just done well and not too long. The long natural look isn't something I can get behind. They always look dirty. Always. No offense to any girls that like having them, it's just not my thing. That is fine. Mine, the longest mine get is half the length of the pink part, and by then I'm like, oh my god, I need to cut these. But, those ladies who have, like, the curl nails, where they can't even hold their phone anymore, and they gotta make other people do things for them, and how do they wipe? Just a little weird. Someone else says, they like to go out too much or have too many friends. I'm not really an introvert, but I am fairly socially awkward. Everyone is. Stop using it as an excuse. I once dated this girl that every time I'd go to her place, there were 4 or more friends in her house just hanging out. I can appreciate a doors always open policy, but I can't get behind being friends with people who aren't anything more than party pals. I agree. I have 3 very close friends, and I feel the closeness I have with them is more important than the quantity. I agree! Just hate the whole, I'm socially awkward. Like, we're all socially awkward all the time. We're cringy and horrible, and we all deserve to die. Ugh. We're all worried about saying the wrong crap and whatnot, so it's just like, just stop it! Stop with the labels! I really liked this girl, but it was the strangest thing. We were at dinner, and she ate her peas one at a time. You've never seen anything like it. It took her an hour to finish them. We had previous dinner dates, and I'd seen her eat corn niblets, but she scooped them. Someone goes, I think that's adorable. I won't date someone if they're pretty. Okay, you're edgy. Someone else says, picky eaters. I think being fussy about one's food is a symptom of a larger problem with being unhappy with life in general. I can get on board with that. I used to be somewhat picky, but then I met actual picky eaters, and yeah, they're just pompous little bitch faces. God fucking damn it, another text. So popular, guys. Someone else says, I'm proof this isn't true. People that aren't exposed to a lot of foods growing up don't have the same taste for some things, i.e. they are bitter or not appetizing. My wife started introducing me to new things. At first I was pretty picky, but then I started to get used to the certain taste, and I acquired a liking for them. Refusing to try shit that I can get behind, there's no hope with that one. Okay, well, I mean, they're not exactly picky because they're still trying it. It's one thing when people are just like, nope. Yeah, because I was very sheltered. I just had, like, the most malnutritioned food, the same crap every week growing up. And, I always considered myself a picky eater, but I'm definitely, my taste buds never grew up. I still drink Kool-Aid and orange soda. That is pretty much it. Someone says, he's a Packers fan? Well, then he can feel free to fuck right off. Okay. Whatever, sports. I once broke up with a girl because she talked too much. I just couldn't take it. Oh no, then he'd break up with me. Someone else says, because he said the same phrases that my abusive ex did. I wish there was more context about that, because it's one thing if it's, I'm gonna punch you in the face, you bitch! Because that's not a good phrase. But if it's just like, whatever, I don't know. You should push through it. And if anything, that's good, because the new boyfriend or whoever is overwriting that phrase, so your ex doesn't own it as much anymore. I don't know. People seem to avoid anything slightly bad. Like, bleh, I don't know. Was this something on another list? I think someone got hurt while skiing or something, so they made sure to go back within a week or two just to make sure that post-trauma anxiety wouldn't happen, and that's a good idea. You know, you get in a car accident, you keep driving, because people seem to forget how many times they've been driving every day since, whatever. They ignore that and they just go, oh, I got in an accident once, so now I'm never going to drive ever again. Next person says, one-word answers to every question. Yeah, I had a friend like this and it was so annoying because God forbid you do the same thing back to them. Of course. Just looking at some birds in my bird feeder. Anyway, moving on. Yeah, fuck those people where they just don't put in any effort, but then they want to keep your friendship or whatever, and it's like, I'm so tired of always doing like 99% of the friendship. That's why I don't have any friends anymore, because I realized a lot of them were just leech people, and they suck dick. Anyway, Kickin' Puppy says, this is going to sound terrible and shallow, well, that's the point of this, but I wouldn't date a fat girl. Being fat isn't something to be proud of, and I don't find it attractive at all. Someone else says, actually there is a personal experience that all fat girls I met were just either arrogant, I guess as some sort of wall against insults, but that doesn't excuse being an arse, or just being some kind of mad in general. I am sure there's nice and caring fat girls out there, but I can't remember ever meeting one. Someone else says, that's not terrible, there's no different than saying you're not attracted to any other girl. Someone else says, it's not terrible or shallow, physical attraction is a main aspect of romance. You shouldn't be ashamed of not wanting to date someone you find unattractive. Okay. Good to know. Irish Bread says, fashion sense or lack of it. I know I shouldn't care, but I do. Someone else says this, and mediocre taste in music. Someone else says, what's that mediocre taste in music? They like screamer? They like a bit of a jive? They like to sing along? Or do you mean they don't have any taste in music? Have any of your taste in music? Ugh. I hate these 20 question people, where like, you just have that undertone of them wanting to start a fight with you. It's just, I don't like it. I think I'm having a bad day, because I'm just not, well, I'm always having a bad day, that's my secret. According to PC culture, not being attracted to them. Yep, that was... Someone else says dirt under fingernails, not even a speck. Okay. Someone else says they got some ugly feet. It's weird, but it's true. Mine could be uglier, but my hands are model hands. It's weird. Oh God. I needed I needed money very badly once. So I went on Craigslist and there was a listing about somebody wanting pictures of female feet, and they would pay you to like tickle your feet or touch your feet for an hour, and I'm like, well, it's like $100 for an hour, whatever, and they would allow you to bring a friend so that you felt safe. And so I sent my pictures, and the person said no thank you. So that happened. But in good news, I've gotten gigs for hand modeling, so, there's that. Anyway, next person says, wants pets in the future. I don't, and it would leave one of us unhappy. I don't know. Kinda. I've learned that people who don't like pets are kind of I mean, if your apartment doesn't allow it, or you have business suits and you can't afford to have all that animal hair everywhere, I understand. But if you actually do not like animals, I do not like you. Just says a little something extra. Woo! Someone else with messed up feet. Someone else if he wears flip-flops and or if he puts his feet on things like furniture, dash in the car, and me. So gross. Yeah, I can understand that. Someone goes, the fact they are imaginary. Oh. Yeah. Someone else, how easily they fall for every person who shows a tiny amount of interest in them. Gross. Okay, so there's this guy. This was about a decade ago. For one, I'm a very negative person, but at least I don't have the quality where people feel drained, physically drained when around me. This guy, his name was Magilla, as in Magilla Gorilla, 'cause he was just this... It's an insult to Magilla Gorilla. He was just... ugh. But, like, he later worked with me because I got him a job because I wanted to be a good friend. He ended up being a fucking psycho, to put it lightly. To put it very lightly. But anyway, point of the story. Holy shit, what was the point of the story? Because I have so many stories about him. Oh, okay. Falling. He thought I had the hots for him. And I don't really know why. My other friend, who was his best friend, told me, and he said that Magilla just walked up to him and was like, yeah, she's totally into me. And the other friend's like, why? And Magilla's like, well, 'cause she talks to me. Bitch, we fucking worked together, and I was getting rides from him because he only lived like 5 minutes down from my house, and I didn't have a car yet. So, apparently, if you talk to someone, it means you want to bone them. And it was like, talking in the car, like, I'm sorry I didn't want awkward silence, but luckily, thank the Lord, this other friend is like, no dude, she's not into you. Oh my god, ooh, it was so gross. Woof, woof, woof. Okay. Someone else. I had a huge crush on this guy. He was in my oh god. Psychology class a few semesters ago. We went on a date and everything was fine until the food came. He ate with his mouth open, loud chewing and slurping. Gross. He had food on his face and didn't wipe it off. He would talk while chewing and eating. I just couldn't deal with it. There have been some crappy times where people are asking me questions right as I take a bite. And so it's like, it takes me a while to chew. Like, I gotta chew a lot, 'cause I have a tiny mouth and tiny teeth, and my thyroid shrinks my throat, so it's even harder to eat. And it's just that awkward, like, do I talk a little bit through my food, or do you wait 15 minutes for me to finish this? this one bite. Blop. Oh god. Anyway, someone else says, their name, please don't start with a letter Y. What? Their name, please don't start with a Y. Okay. I don't fucking... Someone else says, if a guy is noticeably shorter than me. I knew a bitch. She was a pretty miserable person. This is back when I kept my friends around just because they were already there. This is before I learned that you shouldn't keep crappy people in your life, especially when all they do is drag you down. And this was the whole, like, I'm giving 99% of the friendship, and maybe they give me the 1%, so it's just one of those things. Anywho, she was one of those, you must be taller than me, girls. And the problem was that she was bordering being an Amazon woman. She was very tall, and she liked wearing stilettos, like those super, super high heels. So she told me that a guy has to be not only taller than her, but noticeably taller than her when she's also in high heels. And it's just like, personality doesn't mean anything at all? No? Because, like, I found her this really great guy. He was wonderful, well-rounded personality. He was a go-getter. He was motivated. He was charismatic. He was great. Like, I knew him for a while to know any dirty laundry on him, and he was pretty fucking good. But he was too short at the end. Just and this friend wonders why she's so miserable and can't keep a relationship and just barf. I don't know. It's just whatever. I personally don't want a guy that is way taller than me because I'm 5'5", I guess. Yeah. So I'm apparently like a little. I'm average to short or something is what I'm learning from people. But I don't know. I don't want a guy that's like a titan. Someone else says, if you don't like sushi, then GTFO my life. Hey, that's enough. That's enough vote. I'm a sushi fanatic. It is pretty good, especially since I ignored it all my life because I thought the rice was fatty fish cartilage and all that. I thought it was lots of different stuff. It wasn't, and then I saw it in person and I was like, oh, and then I ate it and I was like, oh, and now I have it like weekly if I can. I've tried making it at home a few times, but it's more expensive to make it at home, and it looks like crap since you are not a professional sushi chef. But it's still fun to try. Someone else says, jealous wife. That needs much more context, bitch. Someone else says, this girl once had a squeaky voice. Was cute, but quite annoying. I have also stopped dating someone based on their more relaxed attitude to drugs. 2 things. What sucks is I hate how high-pitched my voice is. I know it's a lower girl voice, but compared to, guys talking, especially ones who have, like, Markiplier voices, it's like, must be nice to have a really good voice. And then the drugs. Yeah, I can understand that. That's not good when it's illegal. Someone else says, single mother, not even once. Aww, that's sad. Someone says, picky eater, it's childish. Also, stupid tattoos, that's most of them. And a head in the clouds or deep orientation. If you use words like cathartic to describe fairly mundane events, I probably can't stand you. Get over yourself. Yeah. So for me, I used to be an English major-ish. Ugh. But the thing is, at one point I realized, well, I can communicate with more people if I don't have to use smart words. There comes a point where you don't need to learn 50 different ways to say that you're mad. Like, the fanciest I'll get is that I'm furious. That's as really cool as I'm gonna sound. Because there's just no point in alienating people because they don't know stupid words. So I've dumbed it down because there's just no point, and my memory can't keep up anyway. Someone says, clingy guys. You need more context. These people love to keep it really, really vague. Like, having somebody like you enough is a compliment. Now, if they're stalking you, like that type of clingy, then I can understand very well. I have had stalkers. I can understand very well. But if they just want to, like, be with you, I don't know, that's so sad, because I'm sure this person's like, no one stays with me. Well, yeah, when you don't value them, it's gonna kinda happen. Can't date a virgin, that's an instant downvote. Oh my god. there's no point in hating on virgins. I don't understand the stigma, 'cause here's the thing. I've been with a dude who was with more girls than he could even remember, which was very alarming given his young age. And he was not good in bed. It was okay. Like, banging a lot of people does not give you the techniques. And even then, each partner is different. That's why I don't get this fucking stigma with virgins, because they're a clean slate, and you can teach them how your body works, because I've been with a virgin, and they were, oh gosh, this is so fucking TMI. The virgin I was with was a million times better than the dude who played the field many, many, many times. Because the virgin actually cared to be satisfactory. Whereas the man whore was just like, yeah, I've been around the block, and just was full of himself. Oh, gross. And here's another thing. Okay, anyone who's looked at condoms, you know there's like Trojan and whatnot. And then there's those Magnum ones. He would get the Magnum condoms because he thought he was big. He was average size. There's absolutely nothing wrong with average size. God damn it, this is such TMI. I prefer average size. I think long penises are so disgusting. Now, if you have one, I'm sorry. But when it's an elephant trunk, it is just really, really gross to me. And you can never fit it in, so you're never going to be fully satisfied. And it's just, ugh, barf. So anyway, the man whore guy was average sized, but he fell victim to marketing because Magnum condoms are like a centimeter bigger than the standard condom size. That way they don't get sued for false advertisement. So yeah, it's technically bigger, but all these poor boys are like, oh no, I'm so big, so I totally need a Magnum condom. Like, it's so pathetic. Just stop fucking doing it. Oh god. Anyway, yeah, virgins are great. I sound like the creepiest thing when I say that. Just like, if you're like, oh, I love children, as opposed to, I love 10-year-olds. I think that was a Dimitri Martin joke. Bless his heart, he's amazing. Oh my god. Oh, so anyway, douchebag says, can't date a virgin, and then someone says, I've heard that it's curable. Hell yeah. Someone else says, there's a first time for everything. Yeah. Do I got any more virgin talks? I don't know. But I knew, back when I worked at this one place, this one boy, he was younger, because it was like a place where teenagers could start working. It was a pizza delivery place. This one guy was talking to me, and he's like, yeah, this girl won't date me anymore because I'm a virgin. And I'm like, are you shitting me right now? And we're talking, and I just said how, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But in the end, he was like, yeah, it's good that I'm not gonna, waste my time on this bitch, because she's clearly an asshole. So that's that. But anyway, virgins are great people. And I envy them because I wish I did not waste my V card on who I did, because he ended up being a psycho, crazy fucking dude who pretended to have multiple personalities for 4 years or so, and he was an amazing actor. He should have gotten an Oscar. That's some fun shit. That's a story for another day, but I'm going to let this be a thing and end it right here. Comment, whatever. I don't care. Anyway, bye.